some form of guidance, some form of understanding, some form of just trying to understand what happened in that second half against Brighton, where I think many will agree the first half performance from Tottenham was quite simply electrifying. They were electrifying. Spurs were playing some unbelievable, beautiful football. And then in the space of within 18 minutes of the second half, Spurs concede 3 goals and go on to lose a game that they should never really have even thought about losing. I mean, Jace, when we do these shows straight after this instant reaction, you know, we said they're off air. We'd like to maybe get a few more minutes to compose ourselves, to try and maybe watch some of the goals back, to understand what went wrong, how it went wrong. How did it go wrong, Jace, in terms of that game of the Amex? Can you explain it?
I don't know. I think Mitoma and Minte gave us incredible problems down the sides in that second half, particularly. Although Mitoma still actually had quite an influential first half, didn't he? But you know, when you make the kind of daft mistake that we do for the straight after half time, you know, I mean, last week we scored inside 2 minutes at Old Trafford to kind of kill the game off. Today we gave a lifeline in 2 minutes of the second half, and it was a shocking goal to give away, and that switches the momentum, and Brighton are suddenly up, and the whole game changed from there on in. And like I said, Minte and Mitoma gave us a torrid time in that second half. You pointed out maybe Destiny wasn't 100% fit, but you can't, you know, that doesn't legislate for his first mistake, that's for sure. But then, you know, we were just a constant mess from that point onwards. And it's really points just chucked away because, as you said, we had total control at half-time, playing really well. And, you know, we're thinking back a week ago to Old Trafford thinking how good we looked, and just flips like that. Really frustrating, really frustrating.
Yeah, if we weren't Spurs fans, many would say that is the nature of the Premier League and what you can get in this division. But I mean, Pat, bringing you in, you know what? You know, Ange Postecoglou looked visibly shell-shocked on the touchline. He couldn't quite believe what he was seeing his side concede in that second half 3 goals within 18 minutes. And rightly so. I mean, because I said at the start of the show, Spurs were totally in control. They were dominant. They had composure to their game. But quite simply, as soon as Brighton got their way back into it with the first one, Spurs lost their composure. And credit to Brighton and Fabian Hürzeler for his half-time tweaks, because towards the end, Spurs looked like it was a tired display, and really it kills any momentum now approaching, as we know, an international break. They're not the greatest in the meantime, but they're going to it with a defeat on the back of what we had was 5 wins and now this damaging defeat. Pat, sum up the mood about how you're feeling right now.
At halftime, he could see what was wrong, and he changed things and tweaked things, and Ange just stood there on the sidelines like this, shaking his head, shell-shocked. And I'm like, come on, Ange, make a change. You waited to the 78th minute, the 78th minute to make a change.
Pat, when you look at that first half performance and how good we were so dominant. We were in control. There was such composure in the way we were playing. There was such belief in the way we were playing. Do you genuinely believe it was just simply the half-time tweaks of Hürzeler that changed this game? Because I can't believe Ange Postecoglou would have told the players to, you know, take the foot off the gas. I don't believe that's the way he's the manager. He certainly said beforehand that wasn't the case. So is it just a case that, I've said this before on this show, that when the going is all very well and we're 1 or 2-0 up, I think there's players out there that can perform. My biggest concern with Spurs is that as soon as there's some kind of adversity, there's a need to bring ourselves back into a game. I'm not sure if we've got the players, the leadership and the guidance there to do that, Pat. Am I fair in saying that, or what do you think? Because I'll quite always, for me, call it when I see it. If it's the manager, I'll say it's the manager. Today, I'll be honest with you, I'm looking at the players in that performance. I am looking at the players because it was such a dominant first half performance that in the second half, as soon as we have a goal go against us, you can see the players, they lose confidence. And yes, you're right to talk about the substitutions, how late we left it, but how much do you apportion on the players for that second half display? Because it was appalling, Pat.
Yeah, no, I think it's a bit of both. Of course, like the players are out there, they're on the pitch and they've got to deliver what Ange is telling them. And also they're, you know, intelligent, gifted players. And the first half, we were magnificent and we were purring and we looked so good. But literally a game of 2 halves, chalk and cheese. Like we were so, it was night and day, wasn't it? The first half, we were brilliant. They couldn't get near us. We were fizzing the ball around and, you know, the touches around the corner, Lwosxi, Johnson, Maddison, Bentancur, everyone looked magnificent. They scored within the first 2 minutes of the second half, and then we literally just capitulated. We folded. And that's where you have to look at whoever's on the pitch to actually pick the guys up and jeer them up and talk to them. And also Ange as well. I think it is a bit of both. There's no way any fan can say that and Ange isn't to blame as well, because at the end of the day, Ange needs to adapt to what's going on, make some tweaks, make some changes. I think, you know, you concede 3 goals in how many minutes, and you wait until there's 12 minutes to go to make, you know, your changes to try and not, you know, rectify the problem. So yeah, it's disappointing, man. It really is. I mean, Brighton are a good team, and I said it last week or the last time I was on here that I was worried about this game, and Lee said, no, we're going to be good. And I said, Brighton are a really good team. They literally play like us, and, you know, it's going to be a tough game. And obviously what happened, and it's a shame because the game was ours. It was there for the taking, and you just got to look at the guys on the pitch, your Kulusevskis, your Bentancurs, Maddison. I need to see some sort of leadership quality. Romero, you know, even the keeper. I mean, the keeper's he's so far back, but there's more than enough talent on there to see the game through. And we just look so soft. As soon as something doesn't go our way, I think for us, it's a team where everything has to tick and be perfect for us to get a win. And it shouldn't be like that. You need to be able to win ugly. You need to be able to win when the chips are down, when something doesn't go your way. And as soon as they scored, and they were 2-0 down, their heads didn't drop. Why did our heads drop when we conceded the first, second, and third? It just doesn't make sense, and it's annoying because they were there for the taking, and we should have won that game. Yeah, but then when you see what happened in the second half, it's just, I just don't know. I don't know what to think of this team anymore. I don't know what to make of them. 1 minute we're brilliant, the next minute we're that. So it's hard. It's hard to take, man. And obviously, this is literally straight after the game, so again, it's even harder to take.
Yeah, and like I say, Russ, well, we always appreciate these wonderful people giving up so much of their time. Russ, love to see you back on. Sorry, it's under these circumstances. I mean, look, the neutrals will tell you, Russ, it was the ultimate game of 2 halves. Madness, really. And there's been a lot of goals in this fixture. There's been 20 in the last 4 of them. But the Spurs let it slip through their fingers, you know, with some really, really poor basic defending. And you know what? The crazy thing was Brighton had so little to offer really in that first half. Spurs should have really been out of sight. It would not have been harsh if that score was 3 or 4-0 at half-time, given Spurs' dominance. But I've got to say that I feel for our amazing away fans that go up and down the country that must be sitting there at the end of that game thinking, how have we lost that? How have we lost that? And the problem is, this isn't an Ange thing. This isn't, you know, if you have to go back through other managers at Tottenham, Mourinho, Jose Mourinho, Conte, you know, you go through them, every manager has had these problems where for some reason there's a mentality that we seem to let games get away from us when we're in complete, utter control. There'll be many saying we didn't take our chances. There'll be many alluding to the poor defending. How do you sum up, Russ, the difference between the first to the second half of that display?
As Pat said, purring in the first half, Spursy in the second, I'm afraid. And, you know, you alluded to it there, Rick. There is something in the DNA of our football club that produces results like this over and over and over again, season after season. And there will be people, won't there, saying, oh, Ange out, that's it, I'm done. Ange Postecoglou is our manager. And this is the sort of performances that we're going to get, as we've seen over the last 8-9 games. String of wins, he needed them after the North London derby. And then a shocker like we got today. But I do think that Jason and Pat are right. Some of the defending was pretty awful. And off we go. And within 18 minutes, you know, we're 3-2 down. And we didn't seem to have the answers. There was a lot of sort of headless chicken football for a good period of that second half, and the headless chickens, well, if they had heads, they were down, and you know, 1 or 2 of them I felt went missing. And you know, Pat is right in a way that Ange stands on the touchline, sort of shaking his head and wondering what on earth is going on. And Sky said it on commentary, but we've got a young manager of Brighton, student of the game, who met Postecoglou when he visited Spurs. I think it was either earlier in the season or last season. Postecoglou said he asked too many questions. Well, he obviously asked the right ones because he's got 3 points today. And I cannot see in the short term anything but erratic results for us. This was a great chance to go 6th in the Premier League, to be up there with the big clubs, the league beginning to shake down after 7 games, you know, as it's probably going to be. And there we are. Missed opportunity, pathetic performance in the second half.